Welcome to Giants Latest. Hit that subscribe and make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you like the video. Let's talk about Giants head coach Brian Daboll because the players are back in the building, which is exciting. Now, this week is all voluntary, so keep that in mind because not every player is going to be in the building. And I'm going to nip this in the bud right now. For everyone who is saying, oh, I can't believe Malik Neighbors isn't there on day one, blah, blah, blah. Malik Neighbors, for those of you who follow him on Instagram, which I'm sure is probably most of you, is absolutely devastated by the loss of Kyron Lacey. They were teammates. They spent a lot of time together. He has posted repeatedly on his Instagram. You can tell this man is heartbroken. It's devastating that he has to go through this at such a young age, not just for him, for the rest of Kyron Lacey's family. So he is grieving right now. He will be back in the building. I am not worried for one bit about whether or not Malik Neighbors is showing up to voluntary practices. I have faith and I trust that he's going to be there. I just know it's pretty obvious from his social media. I obviously don't know him personally, but you can tell from the things that he's posting that he is devastated and grieving. So I'm sure he is spending time with the family and is probably at services and things like that. So I'm not worried, like I said, about the fact that Malik Neighbors was not there. So let's talk about what Daboll had to say about being back in the building and how happy that he is that everyone is back. So one of the things that he did on day one is he had the two quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, stand up in front of the entire offense in a team meeting and basically give them their story and their experience of, playing for different teams in the NFL, what it's like to be a quarterback for them, maybe why they came to the Giants and why they decided this was a good place for them, and, their leadership qualities and what they bring to the team. It's the first time really that all these guys are getting together. We've also seen on social media that I believe Bellinger and Theo Johnson have been working out with Russell Wilson. So some of the guys have gotten together. Obviously, it's different when the whole team gets together. So I actually love this. I think it's great right off the bat to establish leadership from the quarterback position. From everything that we understand, Daniel Jones was a quiet, silent leader. And while I think that's fine, I think when you're bringing in these veteran guys who have a ton of experience and they talk so much about leadership qualities and this is why they pick these specific quarterbacks and blah, 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 I think it's really important right off the bat to just set the precedent that these guys have a lot of experience in the NFL. They came to the Giants for a reason, and that they are going to be the leaders of this offense. And this is what this team really needs. So I love it. I think it was a great idea from Daboll, and I'm glad that he ended up doing it. So I'm happy that from the get-go, we're really seeing some leadership. I think we saw it a little bit with some of the players starting to get together already, and then starting from the voluntary workouts, who's there, who's in the building, and what they're really going to discuss. So let's keep going through here. A couple things about Daboll. Like I said, so obviously Malik Neighbors isn't there. Not all of the players are there, but they did get a lot of good they did get a really good turnout from day one. Some of the photos that I saw, Bobby Okereke, Brian Burns, Wan'Dale Robinson, Dexter Lawrence, Darius Slayton, Greg Dulcich, who is a tight end. I saw a lot of guys so far that they have brought in. Some of their names are escaping me, but the offensive linemen were there. I saw Casey Crater was there. Evan Neal was there. So from what I saw and from what Daboll says, they got a really good turnout on day one. So I think that's great. I think there is no reason why there should be any, complaints at this point. It's voluntary. I'm going to say this 100 times so everyone remembers it's voluntary where we're at right now. And I think as soon as the draft happens, I think as days continue, they're going to get more players in the building. And as soon as the draft happens, I think for a lot of the players, it's going to finally feel like, okay, it's real. This is our team, excited to get to work. So I'm really happy about that. And I don't know, just seeing the photos of them in the building, I was like, we're so close. Not really. We still have the whole summer to go, but we're getting there. And I just feel like, again, it's nice to just have a little bit of excitement and the tiniest bit of optimism around this team. So let's enjoy it while it lasts because it might not be for very long. So I want to talk about what Daboll said about the draft because he said that him and Shane have good communication, that they have had good communication since the 4 years that they have been here. And I don't doubt their communication. I doubt whether or not they're on the same page. And I'm sure I've talked about this before, but I think when you look at the quarterback room the last 2 years, you look at the way that Brian Dable has engaged with some of the quarterbacks, I think that it's very obvious that he didn't love where the quarterback room was at the last 2 years. I think when you hear him say things like the reason they loved Russell Wilson is because he takes care of the ball. And then they also signed Jameis Winston. I just feel like maybe they're not entirely on the same page. And at this point, where we're at, where the draft is coming up, and there's all these little nuggets coming out, and people saying, well, oh, the Giants aren't on the same page, and some people like Shedeur Sanders more than other people like Shedeur Sanders, and this and that. Yeah, I'm sure that's the case. I am very sure that not every single person in the building who's involved in the draft process agrees on that player and where they should go. And I would be kind of surprised if that happened, because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of opinions, there's different scouts, people of all different titles, positions that are involved in this process. So I'd be shocked if everyone was on the same page all the time. But this is what Brian Dable said on collaborative conversations leading up to the draft. Quote, "It's like getting ready for a game. People are going to throw ideas out, plays that are not necessarily what you had in mind and that you're going to be open to. Joe and I listen to a number of people, and at the end of the day, pick the player we think will be best suited for the New York Giants." So he made it a note to say, Joe and I are in this together. We pick these guys together. And like I said, I don't think that that's not true. I think it is, but I also think that if Dable really loves Shedeur Sanders, and if Dable's the offensive guy, it wouldn't surprise me if he wants Sanders at 3, but Joe Shane is like, we have to win football now. We're going after Abdul Carter. Like, those are the type of things and the nuances that I'm sure are going on during all these meetings. It wouldn't surprise me if any of those things happened, but I do just think it's interesting that, they're both putting up the front that we are a team. And this is one of the things that I said too about last year, was that you cannot keep one or the other of them. You either keep both or you fire both. And when it was talked about that maybe, they were only going to keep one of them, or, they're going to keep Joe and not Dable, I just think that's unacceptable. Like, they came in as a package deal. They have all this experience together. They're leaving as a package deal. So they got to stay together on that. So Dable also said that they keep the draft process very close to the vest, which they should. And I hope that they continue to do. I don't want anything leaked. I want to be happily surprised on draft night that they picked Abdul Carter at 3. That's what I want. So that's where we're at right now. The Giants are back in the building. We are a few days away from the draft. It's so exciting and so close. And I really just hope that they get this right for their sake and for ours as fans, because I just really want to go into this season being optimistic. And if they get Abdul Carter at 3, you're damn right I'm going to be. And I hope that you guys feel the same. So make sure you hit that subscribe button for everything Giants.